So today I'm gonna cover one of the interesting lead code questions, department wise top three salaries. So basically, if you could see here that this is marked as hard from the lead code side. So uh, we will go through this particular question. So we have an employee table. So basically, we have on the ID column, we have name, we have salary, and we have department ID, and we have one more table which is department, and it has ID column as well as name column. So we have to write down a SQL query just to find out the top three salaries for each and every department. So let's look into the sample code, and it will make you easier to to get the things in a most efficient manner. So if you see this particular table, right, so we have the employees detail and we have the department details. We have two department, IT and sales. And if you see this output, right, so what this is expecting is, so there are only two department, IT and sales. In IT, we have got four records. So this is the topmost, and since Joe and Randy, have the same salary, so these two are, both are considered as the second highest salary, and this is the third highest. And in the sales department, we have, so this department ID two is for sales department, and we have only two salaries. So these two salaries are uh, calculated as the top two, or the top two highest salaries. So I hope you guys have understood this particular question. So whenever you get any SQL queries, right, where you have to find out the top three salaries, or the top two salaries and also best, I think from my point of view, the best approach is always to use the windowing function. Because when you use your windowing function, right, so you don't have to write a very lengthy code when you use inner join only. Without, if you solve this question without using windowing function, so your code might look more tricky. But if you use windowing function, I think that is the best and efficient way to make anyone understand. So let's write this query. So first, what we are doing is we are writing a windowing function here. Select. So what is the output? We are expecting department, employee, and salary as an output. So what is the department here? We have as department. So we are considering D as an alias for department table and E as an alias for employee table. So what is my second column? It's an employee. Employee is in first table. So E dot name as employee, and then third is, I think, salary. Salary is also an employee table. So E dot salary as salary. Now, since we have to apply uh, rank function here, windowing function, so we will use dense rank here over. And since we have to find out the top three salaries department wise, right, so we have to use partition by here. So partition by is nothing but it's a group by only. We have to partition it by department ID, or you can take it as this department name. Like both are same, both will give you the same result. So in my particular case, let's take department ID. And since we have to calculate top three, right, so we have to do an order by, and then can happen. So we have to do an order by on salary e dot salary and descending. Take it as any alias rank. And what is the next step? So now we will have to join both the tables here. So from e dot, sorry, department table, yes, caps b, and then join employee, and we have to find out the common key. So the common key is d dot id is equal to e dot department id. Now what we have to calculate is like we have to uh, pull all those records which has the top three salaries. So just write, let's take it as an alias, where p dot rank less than is equal to 3. Now since we have take all these things between the parentheses, just try to select all the columns that you want an output. Salary from, I think my code is complete now. So let's validate it once. Let me check. Salary from department d dot name salary, and then descending dense rank over partition by e dot department id. So I think this is all correct. Let's try to run this code. So we have got a runtime error. So let me check once. D here. This is E. Okay, my bad. I think in department table, right? So we have something D dot ID, E dot employee ID, E dot department ID. So let me validate once. Salary as salary. So this should be E because this department ID is present in employee table, right? And this order by E dot salary. Now let's run this once again. So yes, I have got the correct answer. So what we are expecting is what we have received. So I hope you guys have understood this question. So whenever you get such queries, always try to use windowing function. Just try to get concept of what is row number, what is rank function, and what is dense rank, and when do we use these ranking functions. So I hope you guys have understood. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section.